Okay, beautiful. And Amy, I'll just let you know by raise a hand or something, when the 20 minutes is up, and then we'll go from there. So thank you. Uh,
Can you all see my screen? We're all good? Okay.
Beautiful.
Hi. Okay. Hi, everyone. So like Joanne said, and that was a beautiful framing of just the whole meeting and everything, and I really appreciate it. Today, as you mentioned, I'm going to be speaking about productivity hacks and ways that you can manage your calendar and your time. Time is our most valuable asset. You actually shouldn't feel pressured to take notes, because if you email me, my email address will be at the end. I will send you these slides afterwards. So I don't want you to feel pressured to screenshot or whatever. If you want to, by all means, go ahead. But just know that nothing I am sharing today is proprietary, and I always love to share. So don't feel pressured. Also, I'm going to ask, because I cannot see the chat in this view, Joanne, if you would just monitor the chat, there will be plenty of time at the end for questions. I know that some of you have heard me speak before, and maybe on this very topic. And so for those people, I say thank you for coming back, and I welcome your adding to this at the end. When we do questions, let me know if you've heard me talk about some of these hacks and you've tried them and what works and doesn't work, so that as the greater group, we can all share together. So as Joanne mentioned, I'm Amy Bergman. I am a native Floridian, which is a little unusual. I went to UMass Amherst. I worked for 20 years in nonprofit as an executive. 2 years ago, I left that career behind me, leap of faith, and started my own business as a professional organizer. My business is Amazing Spaces. So if you don't know what a professional organizer is, yes, I come into people's homes and offices and I help them declutter and tidy up and make organizational systems. But really and truly, what I am, as I like to say, is I'm a problem solver. I like to find solutions to all kinds of challenges, whatever that may be for my clients or my colleagues. I am a highly creative and visual person, but I am not just about an aesthetic. I'm a social connector. I love sharing resources with my clients and my friends and my family. I love figuring out who knows what best and where to go for something in my local community, or even greater on the internet. I love to call myself a lifelong learner. I love quotes. I love memes and affirmations. This is one that I thought was really appropriate for today. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. Maybe you've heard this before. I want you to think about this today as we discuss some of these time management and productivity hacks. It is your daily routine that is going to make the difference. First and foremost, when it comes to productivity and time management, we have to know ourselves. We have to know ourselves not just as entrepreneurs, but we have to know ourselves as people, as individuals. Are you a night owl, or are you a morning lark? What does that mean? It means, what time of day are you your best self? If you are a lark, as it says, you spend more time outside in the early afternoon, you try to exercise later in the day, and you need things to be totally dark to sleep at night. If you're a night owl, someone who gets more done later in the day and into the evening, you go outside shortly after waking up, you keep the evenings quiet to wind down. This is who you are. You need to know who you are in order to make the best use of your time in a day. So think about a little bit about yourself. And we're going to go through all of these things based upon this. And also, I wanted to mention, everything I'm sharing with you today is about this much, because I could talk about time management and productivity for the next 3 hours. But in the next few minutes, I'm going to touch upon a few things and give you some real life, tangible hacks that I hope will help you. So I like to say we can use our calendar as a catalyst for change. What does that mean? It means that the physical dates on a calendar, and I'm going to put some up on the screen in a second, are your cues. These are your reminders to either stop, reflect, and reevaluate or evaluate how things are going. We naturally kind of do this already, but when you frame something and give it a name, the calendar as a catalyst for change, it helps you use this better. What do I mean by that? We all know New Year's Day, fresh start, new year. It's the most popular time. It's the beginning of a fiscal year for many people. It's when we come up with resolutions and plans and all of that. That is a natural time on the calendar. But what I want you to think about are some of these other ones. February 15th, just passed about a month ago, is actually Discouragement Day. Because what we know from the data is most people have given up on that January 1 goal by then, right? It's also an opportunity. And if you know that February 15th is kind of this time where people give up, then you don't want to be one of those people, right? So you can use this to your advantage. Similarly, July 2nd is dead in the middle of the calendar year. Great time to look back for 6 months. Where are we at? What did we do? As Joanne said, where's the money? Show me the money. Is the money in? Is the money not in? Do we need to retool that goal? Did we have a budget that needs to be tweaked? It is a catalyst for change. And how are you using your time? September 22nd is the fall equinox. Okay, so for a lot of people, they like to use that date as a catalyst. It's a change in season for not us here in South Florida, but for many other people. It is a great time to reflect. October 1st is your starting of the last quarter. That's when you get that email from Joanne who says, rev it up, everybody. We're into the last quarter. Where are you at? Let's make it happen. And then December 21st, the winter solstice and the first day of winter. So in talking about calendars and using the calendar as a catalyst for change, I also want you to think about, what does your actual calendar look like? And I know this sounds a little bit like a silly question. What kind of person are you? Are you a pen to paper, writing it down on a physical calendar? Are you a digital person? Everything is on your phone. Do you use a combination? What do you use what for? Are you a physical paper person for business and a digital person for personal? Do you have those calendars integrated? Who needs access to your actual calendar? Are you wasting time and productivity because the person who is your virtual assistant or your office manager or your social media manager doesn't have access to your calendar? Are you wasting precious time texting back and forth, email back and forth with somebody who's asking you constantly, are you busy on Tuesday? What does your Wednesday look like? Could we meet on Thursday? I need this by Friday. How busy are you between now and then? They had access to your calendar. They wouldn't have to ask you all of these questions. Also, how are you tracking and planning your day, your week, your month, your quarter on the calendars? Okay, it's a lot of information. I myself, I have behind me, I have a on the wall calendar, I have digital, and I have paper for various things. Some paper options, when I say paper, a hard calendar, a physical calendar, could be like a daily planner up on the screen. You could download free printables online of any month, any year, and use that. It's completely free. The one on the refrigerator on the bottom is similar to like I have on the wall. Some people like to use these. Those are great tools. When you physically write something in a calendar, pen to paper, your brain, the data has shown, will help you also remember that a little bit better. Okay, it is a processing thing. The downside, it only lives where you just wrote it. You leave that planner at home, you don't have it with you when you are out with a client or a colleague and you're trying to make another appointment. Your physical calendar is on the kitchen counter. Same goes with wall calendars. There's downside and upside to all different kinds of calendars. Digital options. For those of you who are busy parents, digital calendars are great because you can track not just your comings and goings and time restraints, but those who are in your household or family as well. Everybody can be in one shared calendar. They can see when you will be available and you can see when they will be available. You can see when you need to be at your son or daughter's baseball game versus when you can't book that appointment and you're not waiting till you go back home to the physical calendar on the refrigerator to do so. They can allow you to use color coding. You can manage all kinds of events. That way, in real time, everybody is kept up to date of everybody else's calendar. They can also be used for so many other productivity things. You can share family grocery lists, to-do lists, recipes, so many other things. You're the last person to leave in the morning from home. You use the last of the milk in your cereal. You put on the shared family calendar under grocery list milk. If your spouse is stopping on the way home at the Publix or at the grocery store, they can pull up that list and see in real time that milk was just added and they will know to pick up the milk. They don't have to then call you, interrupt your meeting, your day, your whatever. What do we need at the grocery store? Right there, you just gained 5 minutes back. That's another advantage is you can do it from anywhere. This is the first hack I wanted to share with you regarding calendaring. Block calendaring, many of you may have heard of it, is one of my favorite things to do. Block calendaring is when you take a time block of your day and you specifically assign it to a task or group of tasks in a certain category. So what you want to do is you want to block off 11 to 1. If you know yourself that 2 hours is a time slot that you can focus, okay, you may only be able to focus for 30 minutes and your time block may be 30 minutes, but you are going to time block your day, not the entire day. You're not time blocking the whole day. Time blocking certain areas of your day to certain tasks by category. So you don't want to give yourself an hour and have 5 different things to do that one is personal, one is on the computer, one is for a family trip. You want it all to be under the same category, okay? This way, you are blocking off that time and you are more likely to get those things done. Calendar blocking is really effective. I would say to you, lots of different professionals find this really useful. It's like making an appointment with yourself. These are other ways that you can manage your time effectively. Obviously, using to-do lists or checklists. I like to use Microsoft Office. I don't know how many of you use Microsoft Office in your communications and your calendaring. Just the other day, a client shared with me that they never knew that Outlook in her email, she never knew that if you swiped left on an email in the inbox, you have choices. Obviously, you can mark it red, you can delete it, but there's a choice that says set reminder. And you can set a reminder for a day, a week, a month, that Outlook is going to pop it back to you and say, hey, circle back to this email to Tom to do whatever the thing is in the email Tom sent you. So utilizing some of those features within Outlook are really helpful. A lot of people create folders for their email inboxes by topic that help them refer back to their emails. That is also very helpful. Eliminating interruptions and distractions. So our phones. Lots of times you're asked, silence your cell phone, right? Silence your cell phone. Please silence your cell phone. Well, many people don't realize when they have a phone, they don't want to silence it because what if someone needs me in an emergency? I have children at school, right? So in your contacts, you can pull up a contact, your daughter, your son, your elderly parent, whatever it might be. And in that contact, you can make them on emergency bypass. What does that mean? That means that if they ever call you, no matter if your phone is on silent or not, whether you're sleeping or in a meeting, that phone is going to ring from that person because they are on emergency bypass. Now, for many people, that gives them peace of mind that they can turn their phone on silent. I have 3 people in my life on emergency bypass. Those 3 people know that they're going to ring through no matter what. So I tell them, don't call me out of the blue unless it truly is an emergency. Otherwise, text me first. So that way it is not ringing when it's not truly an emergency. But emergency bypass is your friend, so that you can truly turn your phone on silent. If you need to be focusing on a project, focusing in a meeting, you're in a one-on-one and you need to be present. The rest is pretty clear on the screen. I'm not going to take the time to go into each and every one of these. Also, we need to maximize our calendars. Why? Because we need to know when we can be off as much as we need to know what we're doing when we're on. If you are not taking breaks, if you are not creating days, whether you work for a company or not, I know this is PTO and many of us are entrepreneurs, so we create our own PTO, but think of it this way. You want to maximize your time off. And I don't mean a day here, a day there. I mean, how are we going to look at a calendar? And this is 2024 for it done for you. You're welcome. And what I've done here is I have showed you how by just taking 1 or 2 days off in conjunction with an already determined holiday, national or what have you, where things are shut down or where you would be off otherwise, you now create a 5-day break over a weekend. And this is when other people, other businesses, other entrepreneurs aren't going to be expecting you to necessarily be working. So at the end, if you want me to send this to you, if you want to screenshot this or take a picture of it, if you work, especially if you do work for someone else, these are the days to request off so you can maximize your time off, so you can refresh, so you can be your best self when you are working. This is my next productivity hack I'm going to share with you. It is called body doubling. I love body doubling. You can do body doubling in person, virtually, across the nation, across the world, next to each other. It is doing a task with another person. Knowing yourself, you need to know there's those things on your to-do list that you never get to because you hate them, right? Right? So we're not, what is it, biting the frog in the morning, whatever that saying is. You have things that you are never tackling because you know yourself, you're never getting to them, you hate doing them, but they need to get done. Okay, let's say it's your taxes, right? Or preparing stuff for your accountant. So body doubling is where you contact a friend, a colleague, a neighbor, somebody, and you say, how about we do an hour tomorrow, body doubling, and either you meet at a coffee house, you meet at your house, you meet at a table, you meet somewhere. You're not working together, okay? You may not even talk very much during this hour, but by virtue of sitting side by side, and you can do this on FaceTime and just have your phone open, by doing this, you become accountable. You are accountable for that hour of productivity because somebody is next to you. Now, what you achieve during that hour is up to you. It is in your list of those tasks you want to accomplish in that hour. And it is so much more comforting and so much more entertaining to just have someone by your side. I love body doubling. When we were quarantined, I did body doubling like 2 and 3 times a day because I felt very challenged by my to-do list. But I knew if I had on an open Zoom or an open FaceTime a colleague who was wherever she was, then we would both be more productive and get things done.
All right, Amy, I hate to excuse,
Yes,
yeah,
I'm finishing up.
yeah,
Yes.
about 3 minutes, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to share this with you because I wouldn't be doing my job as a professional organizer if I didn't. A real killer to productivity, time, and your money is clutter, believe it or not. If you take 5 minutes in the morning, after lunch, after a break, and just clear the clutter from where it is you are trying to be productive, I promise you, you will increase your productivity tenfold. I share lots of great decluttering tips on how to do that, especially for home offices. So if you want to just follow me on social media or email me, I'm happy to share that outside of this presentation. But there is data that truly shows that clutter is the culprit of so many of our productivity issues. And I wouldn't be doing justice if I didn't say that today. So here is the email address. Here is all my information. If you do nothing else today, I would really encourage you to follow me. I would love to hear more about you. So I'm going to stop sharing. And if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them.
Yes, first of all, let's give Amy a huge round of applause. That was wonderful. Thank you, thank you. And I know Amy could speak extensively on this subject. So of course, if you feel that this has been valuable and productive, I can certainly invite Amy back and she could continue the conversation for sure. Yeah, so we'd like to open it up. If does anybody want to unmute? Do you have any questions for Amy? All right, Debbie, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't really have a question so much, but I did listen to Amy speak about this topic before, and the calendar blocking is absolutely a game changer. When you just set that time and it's blocked off, again, it's just like an appointment. So you sit down and you get your things done and it's on your calendar, because sometimes you think, oh, I'm going to squeeze that in, and it's the end of the day and it doesn't get squeezed in. So that was a really huge tip and I'm grateful for it.
Beautiful.
Good. I'm glad it's working for
Jen, yeah, unmute, please.
Yeah, I love to listen to Amy talk anytime. Was that the old commercial, like when E.F. Hutton speaks and everybody listens or something like that? I feel like that's Amy. Anywhere she's talking anywhere, I'm quiet and I listen. And one of the things that I really love about Amy is that you straight up, you're always like, it's not a one size fits all. It's not everybody going into the box. Like, you need to know yourself and your habits and when you have your energy and when you have your downtime and how to work with that. So thank you for always honoring everybody individually as you come across with all these amazing tips.
And thank you. I really appreciate that. That's something that is always a little bit of a challenge, especially in my industry and where I live. I have a lot of clients who are, 65 and older. And so clearly their comfort level with especially technology is a little bit different than those who are younger. And so we have to be sensitive to all of that and what works for one and what doesn't work for the other. So yes, that's why I always try really hard to read the room. But thank you.
Yeah, and I want to add one quick thing. I love how you did that long range planning, and it's great. It's great to look at potential vacation time, long range. Something else that could be helpful is, depending on the kind of business you're in, it's also looking at the various holidays. So like if your business lends itself to a Valentine's Day promotion, it's not waiting till the last minute, but you're looking at a yearly or quarterly basis down the road. So you're setting yourself up to take advantage. The other thing I want to piggyback on what you said, Amy, too, I think is something I'm starting to do is block off either a half a day or a whole day on my calendar and leave it blank. Leave it blank, because this is an opportunity to either give yourself the time and space to do something. And down here in Florida, that might mean going to the beach for a few hours. And or it could be used for things like you're not getting to around the house because we're busy running businesses that, maybe we need to declutter a closet, things like this, right?
Yeah. What I didn't include today, but it's part of a different presentation that I do when I have more time, is a lot of entrepreneurs designate an admin day. which is separate than what you're saying. So a lot of entrepreneurs will create Monday as their admin days, which means that that's a day that they block off completely to do all of the task-oriented back end things for their business. And that may be, you know, that's when they work on their social media. That's when they work on their accounting. You know, for some people, knowing that Mondays are admin days are really helpful. So you, again, know yourself. You have to know yourself and to know what you're truly going to stick with, because some people, I will get into this another time. You have to know your tendency. So, you know, once you know your tendency and your habits, then you can best align that with your calendaring and your time so that you can really be productive and effective.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Any other comments or questions for Amy, or anything you want to add to the conversation that you have found helps you with productivity, Julie?
Amy, by the way, great presentation. And I love your use of the QR codes at the end. I feel like not enough people use that. And that's such an excellent way to get all of your contact info where someone can just, you know, connect right away. Beautiful. And I just want to comment on, you mentioned, you know, turning off your phone and work. I have to say that that's one of the biggest things that's changed my productivity, is knowing that, you know what, like if you get a lot of phone calls, you could always block off your time to like, okay, I'm going to turn it off for an hour, and every hour I'm going to check it. But like silencing it, no fires are going to go out, like, because you're not answering your phone. People are busy. Like, it's okay to call them back, because I used to feel like I had to be on the go every time. And I put in the comments, I did research years ago that it takes you 20 minutes to get back into your workflow once you're interrupted. And that's huge. If you're answering just a phone call, silly question, or if a customer is asking you a question, now you got to stop what you're doing and research their answer and then come back to what you're doing and figure out where you were. But turning it off, it's you can be so much more productive if you're just super focused on what you're working on.
100% right. And what you're touching on, Julie, is something I did not go into. Again, another conversation for another presentation. Is not all of us are completely neurodivergent. And there are many of us in business who are, you know, ADD. And that's a whole different conversation about time management and productivity. So, you know, 20 minutes is on a good day for somebody who is neurotypical. So I've been very blessed to attend some wonderful conferences on helping those who are on various spectrums. And it has been fascinating about all the different tips and tools that you would offer to somebody like that. Again, know yourself, and then you can ask for the help based upon knowing yourself.
Beautiful. Yes, I love that. Right, because we are all different. Like you said, your very first slide, some of us are more productive early in the morning. Some of us get that burst of energy midday. Some people work best at 3 a.m. So there's no right or wrong. It is knowing yourself really well, and building this structure of productivity around your tendencies. So, all right. Anything else? Any last minutes for Amy? Well, I want to.
I have
Oh
a
yeah,
quick
go ahead,
question.
Kelly. Yeah.
I was just thinking about the very first slide about the lark and the owl. Do you find that people change? Like, I feel like as I've gotten older, I'm leaning more
Yes.
towards being a lark than an owl.
Fascinating. You should mention that. Yes, 100%. And I will tell you this, your daily success is created the night before. How you end your day and prepare for the evening is how your next day is going to be successful. You can't have a successful day unless the previous evening was successful, fully sleep, how you set yourself up for the next day, 100%. So yes, people change over the course of their lifetime with regards to morning and evening, but they also change in so many other ways. But no matter what, your evening before sets the tone for the day to come. And that is 100% true. And then the last thing I will say is everyone should make their bed every morning.
Yes.
It should be the first thing you do every single day, because no matter what, you have a crappy, shitty day, you come home to a made bed. You have a great day, you come home to a made bed, and you can celebrate getting inside of it. So that's my last tip.
I love that. And you know, it's so interesting what you're saying about the decluttering. And there's something about making the bed so that as you come in and out of your room, it's like, it's calming. When you have an organized, clean work area, or you have your spaces sort of together, I don't know about you, but it is like, very calming. So practice. If you haven't done, if you're not used to making your bed, do it and see how you feel. You know, if you leave your desk a mess at night, how about cleaning it? Like Amy said, these don't have to take a lot of time. It's just some focus. Yeah, outer order. Yes, inner calm. I love that. So at night, I had a German grandmother who the night before would set the table for breakfast. So yeah, very organized, the Germans. Yeah, but so that in the morning when, you know, the family woke up or breakfast was going to be made, the table is set already. Isn't that, oh, so thank you, Amy. This was beautiful.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you all for letting me be
Yes,
here.
and I highly encourage everybody to follow Amy on social and reach out to her personally if she could be of service to you, or if you know anybody you know who could use Amy's talents to help them get organized. Yes, beautiful. All right. So now what I want to do is switch gears and spend about 20-25 minutes. Look, I saw some of the comments. We have women here from Florida. We have women here from Chicago. We have women here from Minnesota.